Welcome to Fintech Chatter News, presented by Tier 1 People, leaders in Fintech executive search. Follow us on your favorite podcast player or Fintech Chatter TV on YouTube.
Welcome to Fintech Chatter News on the 23rd of August 2022. I'm Dexter.
And I'm Joanne.
Well, more positive news on the funding side and lots of positive news to share from friends of the show. Biz.io are the latest fintech to announce an investment round, and co-founder and CEO Stuart Low will be joining us a little bit later in the show.
But first up, the home lending space continues to provide growth opportunities for emerging fintechs. Sherlock has announced it has gone into partnership with AFG, providing brokers with better insight to help with customer retention. At a time when rising interest rates are on every homeowner's minds, the partnership will allow an easier repricing experience for customers wishing to move home loans.
And our friends at Effie have entered into partnership with AD Group to target more customers in the off-plan development space. The partnership will allow brokers to build and promote their profile on AD Group. Customers will get instant access to brokers through Effie's white label technology. Well, crypto is still very much making the news headlines as regulation draws ever nearer. Yesterday, the Albanese government announced their intent to go down the crypto rabbit hole and begin the process of token mapping in what will be a world first. This is a massive opportunity for Australia to position itself as a hotbed for crypto and Web3 innovation. Almost everybody in the industry here in Australia has been crying out for regulation, so this feels like a huge step forward. But without a CEO at the helm of Blockchain Australia right now, we'll need everyone to pull in the right direction, especially with policy submissions.
The push for regulation is a message that has been echoed by the UN for developing nations. Emerging nations such as Kenya, India and Venezuela have disproportionately higher ownership of crypto, and there have been calls to curb advertising and introduce strict regulation across all decentralized finance in these nations.
And in more crypto news, MasterCard has partnered with cryptocurrency exchange platform EBANX to allow purchases in crypto. This follows the news that DataMesh had partnered with Crypto.com to offer payments using crypto. Well, I'm joined now by a really good friend of the show, the CEO and founder of Bizza, Stuart Low. Stuart, great to have you back with us.
Yeah, it's great to be back, Dexter. It's been a while.
It has been a while, and it is very good to have you back to announce and talk about the news that you've announced this week. Do you want to share with our listeners a little bit about what's happened?
Yeah, absolutely. After bootstrapping for quite a few years, Biz.io just closed a Series A round of $7.5 million. VCs, OAF Ventures and Gilix Ventures. And we're really excited to have them on board.
Awesome. Now, yes, you mentioned there a little bit about you had been bootstrapping. Why did you choose now to go out and raise money?
Yeah, sure. So I guess firstly we should start off with, what does Bizza do? Briefly, Bizza solves for the data holder and compliance aspects of the CDR. We have a product called Holder as a Service, which is essentially a turnkey software as a service that helps a bank or an energy company meet compliance. We just hook into your systems and we meet all the CDR obligations. We, as you said, we've been running that as a bootstrap business for quite some time. Our first customer is Regional Australia Bank in late 2020. And we've grown a fair bit since then. But I think probably the key call out is we got to a point and we were profitable with the growth we experienced in 2021. But what we started seeing was opportunities, I guess. I wouldn't say passing us by, but we could see opportunities coming up. And probably the key thing as a bootstrap business is you will always prioritize the deal that that you've signed and the customers that you have, right, and the product that you've got market fit for, and so there's not much risk capital available, basically, to say we think maybe this product over here could really be a thing, but we haven't signed a customer yet, so we can't prioritize it. We're going to focus on the product that customers have signed and we've got validation for, so that this business can keep growing. And so, that's sort of what led us down the path of saying, okay, well, it seems like it's a logical time to raise some capital and no longer have the bootstrapped type sticker or the bootstrapped badge, so to speak. And then it came down to not just acquiring the capital side. There's a few other funding options. Clearly, when you're running, when you've got profitability, but also trying to find the right partners as well. And I mean, OIF and Gilix have a reputation, basically, as backing founders all the way in. They make a number of very small bets and they back them for 5 or 6 years at least. For instance, Go1, for instance, they were one of their very first investors. And so, we really found a fit with Gilix and OIF in that respect, right? And also, of course, with that type of network, it's not so much what money can buy, but having that network of connections to introduce us as we scale up to various people, whether they be customer opportunities, right? Possible employee opportunities, right? Key people that might be important for us to talk to. I guess that's probably the background on why we raised, rather than going along is we just wanted to take advantage of this inflection point in the ecosystem, and I guess close it, right? Yeah. So that's what this gave us.
Awesome. Now it is a really tough time, I think, for people to go out there and try and raise. What kind of reception did you get, and what was it about Gilix and OIF that they see in Biz.io?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look, I guess there's a partial element there where we were approaching these guys with profitability already. Firstly, so that's quite unusual for a startup taking its first money, having already hit that. Clearly, we had good product market fit, and we had a sticky product in the sense that it's a compliance obligation, and we'd proven our product in market and actually had quite a long list of customers and I guess logos. I guess, and also, to be honest, the caliber or the size, I guess, of customer was increasing over the 2021 period. So we went from businesses with 100, 200,000 customers now into businesses that have 12, 15 million customers.
Yeah, look, you've done an awesome job over this last few years of building the business. What would you say are kind of been some of the key lessons for you, Stuart? And what advice would you give to other founders who are, thinking about doing something like this?
Well, look, I mean, the journey on Bizza has been a long one. Bizza was founded in 2017, so I guess without trying to sound rhetorical, don't give up. But the other lessons have really been, I guess, focused on finding that product market fit, right, as much as you possibly can, as quickly as you can, right? And I guess the other one I would say is, expect that your first few deals, the value isn't the deal. The value is having those first few deals, right? It starts flowing a lot faster once you can start saying, hey, why don't you call this customer or this customer? Right. It's a very different conversation when they say, oh, so do you have any customers you want to, refer us to? You say, oh, no, you'd be the first, right? That's a much harder value proposition to sell, no matter how good your product is. Yeah. So I mean, I'm certainly not suggesting, it's got to be reasonable. You shouldn't let people take advantage of you on that first deal or anything like that. But it also has to be a case of, this concept of I'll sign my first deal and I'll be break even. You've either got a very, very lean product to do that, okay, or you're setting an unrealistic price, right? And the reality is that those first few customers are going to, they're going to make a dramatic impression, and if you listen to them, an improvement on your product and make it so much better, right? And I guess you won't realize that that's the case at the time, right? In fact, you might even oppose it at the time, right? But with retrospect, I can say that every time we've listened to our customers, right, it's served us well, both in happiness with those customers, and not just that customer, but other customers. We get feedback like, oh, I'm so glad you finally did that. I've been meaning to talk to you about that, right? But also in commercial benefit as well, because you get a reputation, right, as an organization that listens to its customers and changes and evolves its product, right? And it's quite rare in that enterprise software market, which is where we play. So
No, I'm going to kind of take you back. We had you first on the show a couple of years back, for the open banking special that we did just before CDR went live. We're now kind of 2 years on. What's your kind of general sense as to where we're at and what needs to happen next for the kind of vision to be fulfilled?
Yeah, look, it's certainly it's been a long journey so far, but probably not too surprising. I think anyone, I guess, in the fintech or startup space always wants things faster than the slow cogs of various enterprises and governments are able to achieve. But at the same time, I think we've got a good baseline when it comes to the CDR. We've got essentially all data holders online now. Compliance is improving, and certainly data availability is improving. And I'd like to think that the recent news that follows turning off screen scraping, for instance, is it's a good sort of I guess hat tip to say that we're finally getting somewhere there. Props to Tony. But I think probably the key to really take advantage of this now is getting those value propositions, getting the number of value propositions from data recipients increasing, right, and getting them out to market. And I think this funding is certainly going to be helpful for BIZA in being part of that journey as well, right? Stepping beyond just compliance for these holders, which that is our bread and butter, and that's been really great and from a commercial perspective. But now it turns into, okay, what value can we introduce into this ecosystem, right? And I think we're probably closer now to that uptick point than people perhaps think, because it'll only take 1, 2, or 3 value propositions that the general public suddenly really starts getting involved in, right? To really start seeing a lot more data flowing. Right? So,
awesome.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah. Now, other good news is that you've got a lot of hiring to do.
Yeah, sure. We are tripling in size is the target. Look, we have a variety of roles, everything from front-end engineers, back-end engineers, the usual type of engineering mix, through to infrastructure as well. Okay, but also there's a heavy focus on optimizing our not only our product management capacity. Okay, I think product management for us has been a little bit ad hoc. It's almost been SKUs management as opposed to a formalized product management approach, but also product or service delivery, right? Our project delivery methodology now, in order to get that scale up type delivery, right, we really need to formalize that as well. So we have quite a few roles in the service delivery space and that customer success space. So yeah, it's a mix, right? It's not just engineering. It's a mix across engineering, infrastructure, delivery, and product management. We're looking forward to meeting all those exciting people.
Yeah, look, and I guess the big sell is that that people would be joining at a time where I hate using all these vernaculars like rocket ships, etc. But this is a fantastic time to be joining the business, and you're a business that's really making a big difference and doing something that's really quite innovative.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, once again, channeling that bootstrapper type mentality. I wouldn't get too far ahead of myself until the deal's done. But yeah, look, we're definitely seem like we're on an inflection point.
Yeah.
We definitely are now well capitalized to do that, in the midst of this market situation. Right. And of course, as with all startups, right, we're definitely keen to give our employees a little piece as well, which obviously could pay serious dividend. Yeah, I would say it's a good time to join, especially since we're remote native. We were born in a pandemic. There's a lot of advantages to joining us. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Now, I know that some seriously talented people listen to the show because you're included in the audience.
It's a good show.
Yeah. For those who are listening, what's the best way to reach out if they're interested in joining Bizza?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. You can either reach out to me on LinkedIn, or if you feel like reaching out via email, you can just email hello@bizza.io.
Great. Well, Stuart, it's been fantastic to chat with you again. Congrats to everybody. And mate, I'm really excited about this next 12 months for you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Dexter. Thanks for having me again. It's a pleasure.
Bank of Queensland retail banking services through Temenos Banking Cloud is now live. The migration of BOQ's ME brand to Temenos is now underway. The move is designed to cut BOQ's costing once their migration from their legacy systems is complete. Shopify has entered into the small business lending space with the launch of Shopify Capital in Australia. With a pricing model that allows customers to repay a percentage of sales rather than a set amount, they are taking on the traditional banks. Ben Lyons, ex-Prosper, has joined our friends at Cape as their new Chief Revenue Officer, and Brian Collins has left his role at Startup Bootcamp and his director seat at Fintech Australia.
And in sad news, we had SwiftX unfortunately make 21% of staff redundant. This follows news that Mr. Yum had also made 17% of staff redundant. Our hearts and kind of thoughts go out to everybody right now. And look, if there is anything that Joanne or I can do to help out, please reach out. Whether it's just some advice, look at your resume, whatever it is we can do to help, reach out to us at info@tier1people.com. A reminder to join me in Melbourne on the 7th and 8th of September for Intersect Festival. If you haven't already secured your tickets, head to intersectfestival.com. In our latest podcast, I chat with Self-Wealth CEO Kath Whitaker. And tune in for this Friday when I'll be catching up with James Fuller, the CEO and co-founder of Henry, winners of this year's People's Choice Award, Fintech of the Year. Make sure to follow us in your favorite podcast player and don't forget to leave us a 5-star review. It really helps us in promoting the fintech community to a global audience.
If you have any news or feedback you want to share, email me, Joanne, at tier1people.com. Until the next episode, stay safe.
Fintech Chatter News is presented by Tier 1 People, leaders in fintech executive search. We help build world-class fintech ventures by connecting you with world-class talent. And you can find out more tier1people.com.